Hello, welcome to Public Administration series. The topic for today is 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. This act came into existence in the year 1992. The reasons for the emergence of this act are: number one, influence of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, who was a strong supporter of the revivalism of village economy, gave this concept that our village should develop first in order to make India a developed nation. What he says, that the control of state should be minimum and the participation of the people should be maximum. Second point is the directive principles of state policies. As we all know, the DPSPs are the aspirations of our nation. These are the ideal concepts which our nation wants to achieve for itself. Even the Article 40 states that village panchayat should be organized and they should be endowed with necessary powers and authority. The third point is the 5-year plans. The implementation of the 5-year plans demanded the active participation and cooperation of people, especially for the schemes of agricultural development. As you all know that the major section of our population is engaged in the agricultural activities, so it becomes very important to include the people who stay in villages. The government started taking steps and appointed a committee known as the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee in the year 1957. This committee was formed to examine the working of the Community Development Program and the National Extension Service. The recommendations of this committee are that there should be a 3-tier Panchayati Raj system. First, Gram Panchayat at the village level. Second, Panchayat Samiti at the block level. And third, Zilla Parishad at the district level. Next, Ashok Mehta Committee in the year 1977 gave recommendations that the 3-tier system should be replaced by the 2-tier system. This is a very important change which he recommended. And this can be a probable question for any examination. The first, at the village level, which is the first level, he says that there should be a Mandal Panchayat, and at the district level, there should be Zilla Parishad. The third committee, more important committee, was G.V.K. Rao Committee. It was appointed by the Planning Commission and it was in the year 1985. The fourth committee was L.N. Singhvi Committee. It was appointed by the Rajiv Gandhi government. Almost every committee has recommended for allotment of resources for functioning of the Panchayati Raj system as a self-government. The first committee, that is the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, it was not rigid and it left it to the states so that they can develop their own pattern of Panchayati Raj. This resulted in irregular, or you can say that haphazard situation wherein a few states were following the 2-tier system, a few were going for the 3-tier, and few even were going for the 4 tiers. So there was a complete chaos between the states. So Ashok Mehta Committee, in order to give a solution for this problem, recommended that there should be a constitutional recognition. That means every state should follow the same pattern and should not opt for different tier system like the 3, 2 or 4. Significance of this act. This act added a new part 9 to the Constitution of India. It is entitled the Panchayats and it deals from Article 243 to 243O. It has also added the 11th schedule to the Constitution. The schedule contains the 29 functional areas of the Panchayats. It deals with Article 243G. It has even given the practical shape to Article 40 of the Constitution, which forms the part of the DPSP, that is the directive principle of the state policy, which are the ideal goals of our nation. It has also transferred the representative democracy to participatory democracy. That is, it has made the democracy people-centric, wherein people can participate in the grassroots developmental works. Now we will deal with the articles which are related to Panchayati Raj. Article 243 gives the definitions for every term which is given in the Panchayati Raj Act. So we are dealing only with two definitions. The first one is the Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha, which means a body consisting of persons registered in the electoral rolls. And Panchayats, which means an institution of self-government constituted under Article 243D, which we will deal just after this 243A. 243A gives the role of the Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha is that institution which exercises the powers and which performs the functions which are provided by the legislature of that state. Article 243B, this deals with the constitution of the panchayat, how the panchayats would be formed at the village, at the intermediate and the district level. It also states that the state where the population is less than 20 lakhs, there the panchayats at the intermediate level will not be constituted. Next is the Article 243C. 243C is the composition of panchayats. It states that there should be direct elections for the panchayats. That means the way we vote in case of the Lok Sabha constituency, the similar way we have to vote in case of our panchayat elections also. Indirect elections are to be held for the chairpersons at the intermediate and the district level, and the chairperson of the panchayat at the village level will be elected as per the state legislature's criteria. Next is the Article 243D. It deals with the reservation of seats. The first point which we will deal with this is that the seats are reserved for the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. Definitely in proportion to the population of that particular area. 1/3 of the seats should be reserved for women, which are belonging to the SCs and STs, because generally they are those people who have been neglected and are not so much attached to the mainstream of our population. Even 1/3 of the seat of the total of will be filled by the direct election, that also for women, and it may be allotted by rotation to different constituencies. That means the first case is for the reservation of the SC/STs women, and then overall there is a reservation of women in general for the Panchayati Raj system. There are even reservations for offices of chairperson, for the SCs, STs and women. That also in the same ratio, that is 1/3 for the women. Article 334. What does Article 334 says? Article 334 says that the reservation of seats will cease to exist after a certain period, and that certain period is 70 years, and 70 years is getting completed in the year 2020. The special case of Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh has been exempted from following these act, that is the Panchayati Raj Act, because this reservation of seats, because the state is inhabited by tribal people, and as if everyone is a tribal person, then definitely there would be no scheduled caste. Backward classes. Backward classes, definitely the state can formulate laws which can favor them if they are not properly represented in the Panchayati Raj institutions. Article 243E, it deals with the duration of panchayats. A 5-year term is fixed for the panchayats, but it can be dissolved before the completion of its term. And if it is dissolved before, then the conduction of election should be completed within the duration of those 5 years, and the elected representatives will continue for the remainder period and not for the full term. If in case of a dissolution, the elections have to be conducted within a period of 6 months from the date of its dissolution. Article 243F, it deals with the disqualification for membership. A person can be disqualified if he is disqualified under any law of state legislature. For example, Rajasthan had once formed a law that a person who is 8th pass can only stand up for the election. So though maybe it was nullified, but at that point what would have happened, a lot of persons who were not literate definitely would not have been able to qualify for the criterias which are set for the election. Next is the Article 243G. It deals with the powers, authority and responsibilities of panchayats. Why am I dealing with all these articles? Because questions can be asked directly from the articles. And there was a question asked on Article 243E. That means which article states the duration of the panchayats. So definitely it is Article 243E. 243G, the responsibility of the panchayat is to prepare plans for the economic development and the social justice, because villages are the areas where the caste system and the inequalities are so much prevalent that it would become very difficult for the government to deal with such situation if the Panchayati Raj institutions are not functioning properly. Definitely the government forms a lot of schemes, and the implementation bodies are these Panchayati Raj institutions. Article 243H, these are the powers to impose taxes for the panchayats. Definitely, it is the duty of the state legislature to assign or authorize the panchayats to collect taxes, duties and tolls. The major problem faced by our Panchayati Raj institution is the lack of funds and the lack of resources. And there have not been adequate steps taken to throw light on this issue. It further states that the state legislature can provide for making grants in aid to the panchayat from the consolidated fund of the state. The way we have a consolidated fund at the center, we have a same consolidated fund at the state level also. There should be constitution of funds for crediting all money to the panchayat. That means the states can collect funds for the revival of the economy of the village panchayats. Article 243I, this deals with the constitution of the Finance Commission to review the financial position. The way we have a finance commission at the central level, similar is the case with the finance commission at the state level also. But the function of the state level finance commission is to form or recommend for the panchayat level bodies. It is same as the central one, that is it will definitely discuss and recommend for the distribution of the taxes, duties and tolls. That means what should be the share of the state government and the share of the panchayat level bodies. Next is the determination of the taxes, and the third one is the grants in aid to the panchayat from the consolidated fund of the state. There should be measures which should be taken to improve the financial position of the panchayats. And any matter of the finance commission should be referred to the governor, and the governor will place these recommendations before the state legislature, and ultimately the state legislature has to formulate the laws. That means the final say is of the state legislature. Next is Article 243J, which deals with the audit of accounts of the panchayats. As we all know that MG Narega is the central scheme and the implementing body is the Gram Sabha. So the audit has to be conducted by the panchayats, and it will definitely be conducted by the laws and the criteria which are set by the state legislature. Article 243K, it is related to the elections to the panchayat. There is a separate body for the conduction of election to the panchayats, and that is the State Election Commission. The conditions of the service and the tenure is decided by the governor of that particular state. The removal of the members of the State Election Commission would be according to the grounds which are prescribed for the judge of a high court. The judge of a high court is appointed by the governor of that state, but he is not removed by the governor, he is removed by the president. Article 243L, this is related to the application to union territories. Union territories are different from the states of our country. They are not headed by the governors like our states. They are either headed by the lieutenant governors, administrators, or the chief commissioners. So they directly come under the president of our country. The president may direct that whether this would apply to the union territory, and if applied, then it would definitely be according to the exceptions and the modifications as per the will of the president. Article 243M. This is related to those areas where the Panchayati Raj will not be applied. The first point under this is that nothing shall apply to area under 244 clause 1 and clause 2. This is related to 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas. The 6th schedule areas are the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura. These states are mostly inhabited by the indigenous people of that state. So there is a special provision, and there is a special provision which is formulated by the parliament of our country, which is the PISA Act, that is the Panchayati Raj Extension to Scheduled Areas Act 1996. There are special provisions formulated for these areas which are modified so that it can suit those areas. Article N, it is related to the continuance of existing laws and panchayats. Before the establishment of these PRI institutions, there were already few local bodies which were functioning under the states. The parliament has given a maximum period of 1 year for their functioning. That means after this period, 24 April 1993, every state has to adopt the new Panchayati Raj, and every state will adopt the three-tier system which is formulated by the parliament of our country. Article O. This article deals with the interference of courts. That means the courts are barred from questioning the electoral matters of panchayats. Nobody can question the delimitation of seats, the delimitation of constituencies, or the allotment of seats to such constituencies in any court of law. Election petition can be filed though, and that also according to the manner provided by the state legislature. We have dealt with all the articles which are related to the panchayats. Further, in the upcoming videos, we will deal with the PISA Act, the 11th schedule, and the second ARC.